Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to the Galactic Astrology Podcast. My name is Ursula O'Farrell with the Ascension Playground, and I'm joined today by the podcast co-host, Julia Balaz. As many of you know, Julia is the creator and founder of the Quantum Soul Guidance Practitioners course. And part of what we're doing with this podcast is to introduce our certified practitioners. And today we are so happy we get to celebrate the graduation of Mônica Duarte, who's based in Spain and offers galactic astrology readings now in Spanish and Portuguese. So welcome, Monica, and hello, Julia.
Congratulations. Welcome, Monica. Super excited to see you here.
Thank you for having me here today. I'm very happy and very grateful to be here.
We are just so excited as the practitioners grow in number to serve a broader global audience who's hungry to understand galactic consciousness through these incredibly beautiful soul connection reports. You can get your own free report on Julia's website called galacticastrochart.com. I love how we've already gone multilingual, multinational. It's almost as if this network is being created to help support the desire for humanity wanting to know about conscious evolution or galactic heritage and star families. What do you think about that, Julia?
Yes, I cannot believe when I see how many languages we have available now in terms of galactic astrology reports. And just a couple of days ago, another one got certified, and the language is Persian. She's going to do reports in Persian. So I'm like, wow. So we have 12 languages now. It's all listed on the website, galacticastrology.com. I'm super grateful.
Great. Well, let's introduce Monica now and learn a little bit about your past, Monica, with how you came on the spiritual path and how you came to meet galactic astrology and Julia.
Okay, so my journey started many years ago, so I will try to resume a little bit. I was born into a family where many people have psychic abilities, and it was no different for me. I was also born with some abilities, psychic abilities. So in this aspect of my life, I has always been quite intense since I was a little kid, a little baby. But despite being something common in my family, people did not get work or develop these psychic abilities. Just they're always aware, but they went about through their 3D lives, as I call it. So when I was a child, I always been very curious. I enjoy reading a lot. I studied a lot of topics by myself, but my big passion was always astrology and alchemy. So when I was about 12 years old, by intuition, I bought my first deck, Le Petit Lenormand cards. I don't know if you know that cards. And I started to read it to my friends when I was only 12. And the information just came to me, and I believe that was an important moment to me to recognize and to validate my abilities and keep working on that. So I grew up leading this double life until I started to the university. I am a pharmacist. I study pharmacy. And there I found another passion, the research. And since then, I started to work with research, with organic chemistry. And that's when I lived my 3D life with intensity. And on the other hand, I live in spirituality on one side. And what many years passed, and when I was doing my PhD, I felt the call of spirituality very strongly again. So in 2011, I moved to Madrid, where I finished my PhD studies. I got pregnant in this process, and and here my life took another important turn point, I believe, because suddenly everything that I had made, that had made me a lot of sense in my life, my work, the research, the pharmacy, I wasn't so sure anymore. So when my son was born, I decided to take a sabbatical to meditate on it, and from that moment on, spirituality began to work so magically in my life. I met so many people. I took so many courses, and I had an incredible experience, much incredible experiences. And I just flowing. I just following my intuition, and without knowing exactly why I was doing that, but without knowing, I was being prepared for what I would start to live in 2019. So during this time, I accessed a lot of information and improved myself a lot, studying astrology, dosing, crystals, Akashic records, energy cleansing techniques, and many others. And last year, I decided to quit my 3D job. And today, I dedicate myself exclusively to the therapies. And this year, 2022, it's been a very intense year, very tough year, but I'm learning a lot. And after some experiences, I start researching about fixed stars and their relationship with the astrology, the natal astrology chart, to validate some of my own experiences. And on Debbie Solari's webinar in July, a lady mentioned Julia's website, and I take a look. And at the same day, I start the Galactic Astrology 101 course, and then the Quantum Soul Guidance. And here I am, ready and excited to new experiences, to have these new experiences. So I'm very glad and very, very excited. I think the planetary frequency is changing so fast, and we need to be prepared. We need to be awake, and we are just awake at this time. Need to help and guide people who is just doing now this awakening. So I think that's my job right now.
What an incredible story. What an incredible story. Beautifully presented as well. I am so curious. You have such a busy galactic chart, so many different alignments, and a lot of groupings as well. You have, so I'm just curious, when you saw your chart first time, was there any validation you received? Is there any particular galactic race that you feel is a very strong theme for you in your life? Would you like to mention any of them?
The lineage I'm most identified with in my chart is Lyra. I think
so. Your chart is just pop.
Yeah, full of Lyra connections. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a very strong connection with with cats, with felines, and all these traits of Lyra and starseeds. And another lineage, one of the oldest of my chart, Tausedi, and where probably I bring this passion for science and research and all these things. So I think these two are the most.
Wonderful. I had goosebumps when you said the Tau Cetium with the science connection. Yeah. So we take that as a nice validation. Brilliant. What I asked you earlier before we even started recording was about your conjunct and opposite alignments. My theory that I've seen validated many times, but yet I'm always looking for another proof, is that if we have a lot of opposite alignments to different big stars, they tend to activate and be embodied more consciously in our life at the later years, not as much in our childhood. and you have a lot of opposite alignments. And my first question was if you were aware of higher consciousness in your childhood or not, but you said you were from very, very early on. So then what I've noticed in your chart is that you have these oppositions, not only with the outer planets, but also sun, moon, and ascendant. So I believe that because these planets are being, or these points of sun, moon, ascendant, especially moon, it's being triggered through transits much more often than the outer planets opposition. So it's likely that they get activated sooner as well, because like every 28 days, moon will be passing your natal moon and hitting the node of the fixed star that is aligned to it. So it's interesting to expand on that. And I'm glad I was able to ask and validate something.
Well, my burning question is, having a PhD, being a pharmacist, Monica, and then to have a child, it must have been so hard to let go of the paycheck and that security and foundation. So many may have chosen to stay in the pharmacy, high-paying world, let's say, and then try and do this on the side. How did you come about to making the decision to let go of that kind of income frequency?
It was very difficult to me to take this decision, but I feel with all my heart and all my body that was the right decision, because I always was looking for this balance between science and spirituality and consciousness and energy. And when I was working with research, I was not working with my spirituality, my energy, and the other side as well. So I decided to quit my job and try to balance these two energy. I don't know how exactly I will work on this in the future, but I have this feeling that my background as a researcher, as a scientist, as a pharmacist, will make a lot of sense to me in the future, using energy and expanding consciousness and these things. So I feel with the heart and I make the decision. So this is it.
I might have some answers in your chart if you don't mind me sharing a little bit more about it. Although you don't have planets in your 8th house. Oh no, your Pluto is in the 8th house.
Pluto, yeah.
Really good. But also your Sun and Mercury are opposing supergalactic center. Your Sun and Mercury are in your 2nd house, and so supergalactic center is pulling both your kind of ego and your mind towards the house that is, I find, a lot about the what's hidden, and you want to research and dig deep and study and find out the root cause of things. And of course, there are many other indicators, like for example, your North Node in Virgo is calling you to that, studious research, like path, Saturn in Virgo, Uranus in Scorpio. Yeah, so you have so many indicators of that. And of course, Neptune in Sagittarius also perhaps gave you that connection to higher consciousness from early on. Love your chart.
Thank you.
So many people talk about always wanting to do something, but waiting till later after my child is born or after graduation, or this idea of living later. And I just want to commend you for following your heart and soul's calling, because to take a PhD and basically say, thank you, I'm working whole brain, left and right. And so you bring whole brain and whole heart, perhaps now into these galactic astrology readings. And your beautiful website, I'm just going to call it out, and excuse my broken Spanish, but renaceradlante.com, Return to Atlantis. Would you speak to that while I'm going to try and bring up your website?
I always have felt an important connection to Atlantis since my early age. So someday this name just came up to me, and I start to work on them, and I resonate so deeply, and this is it. That's the website, and I try to bring people self-knowledge and consciousness. And I don't trust in gurus and things like that. I really like to present people the tools that they can use to improve themselves, to empower themselves, to know more than about themselves. So this is why I was working in Renacer Atlante.
Just beautiful. Tell us about this picture we're seeing on your website. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, I use the pictures of very strong places with a very strong energy, some beautiful places. So I used Moraine Lake, Mount Shasta, and some other pictures. The pictures will change every time you access the website. This picture will change.
Did you find seeing your galactic astrology chart as something that gave you stronger sense of validation of what you felt inside you about your ancient soul? Or, how was that experience for you, like seeing your big stars alignments, black and white in astrology?
Inside, I always knew that I was an ancient soul, but with this so many aspects in my chart, and the aspects with Andromeda, Lyra, and so many aspects with my Saturn, that show me that I had this very ancient connections to.
I recently started paying attention to day chart and night chart, and when either Saturn and Venus are stronger, or Mars and Jupiter are stronger. With your chart, you have a night chart, I believe. Saturn would be the biggest challenge to work through, and that has most alignments. So I feel it's amazing to see that in terms of connection to some of those alien races that we believe were influencing the Atlantean era. So seeing it there, black and white, it's actually quite amazing.
Well, I'm in awe with your journey, Monica, because I don't have that inner knowing. I'm always looking outside myself for the data and the proof that I try to find in my research. And even when I see it as proof, I kind of go, oh, I don't know. So I honor your path of, basically ancient alchemical journeying. I mean, you take this wholeness and this to thy own self be true kind of motto. Like, it's not enough for the paycheck to keep me kind of handcuffed into this, I made it through the PhD level, I've got a job, and now I'm raising a family. That would not keep you from your heart's path, it feels like. And I just want to say, I see that in you, and this deep, deep wisdom, like the spiral within the Metatronic cube. So your future readings in Spanish and Portuguese.
Yes.
Speak to us. Is it going to be in Zoom sessions, or is it written reports that you'll start with? If someone's interested and they go to your site, which is only right now in Spanish, right? How would a reading be from you?
The readings will be by a Zoom session.
Oh, good.
Yeah, online session, because I just have the experience with my clients with the other therapists, so it's very easy to me and more close do the sessions by Zoom, and I like it so much, the contact with the people, and could talk about it and validate some things. It's very important to me, this closeness.
And do you do these sessions both in Spanish and Portuguese? You're fluent in both languages, yeah?
Yeah, I'm fluent in Spanish and Portuguese, yes.
Amazing.
Well, I think your English is wonderful too. So I just wanted to give a shout out. I don't know I could navigate 3 languages and figure out when I go to dream at night, which language am I going to be speaking in? So I want to go back to this idea that you were born knowing, and in a family that was also rather psychic, but chose a different path. And so no judgment, it's just you chose to know and embrace this knowingness. So for me, it seems to be the separator, where you see that it's not always about income, and security is kind of an illusion as far as financial security. But when you honor your path, and now stepping out as a certified quantum soul guidance practitioner, you'll be bringing in your background with research, with the Akashic records, with astrology, with the galactic. Is there another ingredient that tarot? I think you said card reading.
Yeah.
Is there another aspect that I want to talk about in a session with you?
I use it so much, my intuition, and in Brazil, I'm from Brazil. I'm Brazilian, and in Brazil we work a lot with the orishas, and I have a very tight connection with the orishas. So I have sometimes I channeling during the sessions. I receive messages, and that's a special gift sometimes to some clients that just happened, and I don't looking for this in this on my sessions, but sometimes just happened. It's very beautiful when happened.
Now, an orisha is like a spirit guide?
Yeah, it's like a spirit guide. Yeah.
And what about working with crystalline energy? When you say Brazil, I think of all that beautiful, the geodes and the earth there. Do you also work with crystalline energy?
Yes, I work with, I work with crystals, and especially when I work with Tamiana, which is a therapy channeled by Juan Manuel Giordano, an Argentina that use a Pleiadian technique with crystals and symbols and light language, and it's very, very powerful and very, very easy to work with.
Having had a class with Drunvalil Melchizedek, this idea of that crystalline bed, especially in Brazil, and these certain spots on Earth, it's like this transmitter and receiver and a host for holding the spiritual energies, more so, let's say, than other parts on the planet. So, Monica, is it okay to say that a reading with you, it's relying on the intuitive intelligence of just knowing and allowing for potential channels, but also working with, okay, here's your soul connections on a galactic astro chart report. But it's really like a launch pad, it feels like, for you. Like if they need healing work around the body, it sounds like it might be something that you could help tune into, having your background with medicine. But the word alchemy, can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I sense there's this ancient alchemical wisdom that you are carrying in your field. And I don't know if there's a name for it, but it just feels like, that there's medicine.
I always felt inside of me that I had this energy of the transformation that create a new energy from some energy that just exists. So as a researcher working on organic chemistry, I had a lot of alchemy. I made a lot of alchemy. And I think that I could use this alchemy in my sessions too. When I do the healing sessions with crystals, with the energy of Arcturus, of Pleiades, and I think that it's very deep inside of me. I can't explain with words. It's very difficult because it's very deep. It's very inside of me. I don't know how to explain that with words.
I'm repeating myself. First of all, with your Pluto in Scorpio, and then your Sun and Mercury from the second house, bringing the physical experience into the super galactic center in your 8th house, that is sitting there waiting for that transformation, and your midheaven as well, being in Scorpio. So you are, it's your path to bring transformational experiences, and really with super galactic center frequency there, it's very mighty and just incredible wisdom of creator. Your Pluto is in Libra, but in 8th house, which is ruled by Scorpio. I just want to make a correction.
Yeah. And so, Monica, she's going to be able to splice this out. And you can tell me if you don't want to answer this, but I'm thinking a lot of English speaking potential clients will be listening to this beautiful podcast. Would you be open to receiving someone who wants a session who only speaks English? Or would you prefer only Spanish and Portuguese speaking clients at this time?
Yes, I'm open to English sessions, of course.
Only because there's such deep magic around you. And it goes, I'm feeling it's really deep and very ancient, and there's no accident. And I know you don't do that for your ego. It's just calling out an energy that feels present as we began this podcast. This idea of a return to Atlantis. But as we return to Atlantis, it's almost like this spiralic evolution of not going backwards, but embracing that multidimensionality of our true existence. And when you sit with that, you kind of go outside the paradigm of, I'm here to make money so I can raise my family and make sure that I'm safe and my loved are safe, which is very fear-based, right? But it's practical. You got the degree, a huge PhD level. But what you're showing as a new way of, to thine own self be true. And so anyone who's listening to this podcast that would like a session with Monica, she's opening the opportunity for that alchemical ancient wisdom to come through in a reading on Zoom.
Monica, do you have any final message that you would like to share with the viewers or with the students or your potential future clients? Anything you feel called to?
Okay. I want to say that who's taking the course, take your time to doing the course, enjoy the course. That's a lot of information. And when you start to practicing and start to do the readings, a lot of intuitions and informations will come out, and this is a very great and passionate journey.
Congratulations. And I love what you said about take your time and enjoy the course. And for me, when I think about you moving into 2023, Monica, raising a family and embracing what is 100% your core. This is why you're here, that knowingness. I just want to feel and resonate that energy out to the whole class or any listener, that we do get these choice points of, love or fear. And so thank you for choosing love, because I feel it all over you. We want to thank everybody for joining us today on the Galactic Astrology podcast. Congratulations. We celebrate you, Monica Duarte, and keep your light strong. Thank you, ladies.
Congratulations. Much love. See you soon.
Much
Thank
love.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.